What up, what up, what up, everybody? Welcome to the Dreams to Reality podcast. I'm your host, Annabelle Rodriguez, and this is episode 2. What's up, YouTube world, Instagram world, digital world? Welcome to today's episode. On our first episode, we had an amazing guest, actually. A very talented, wise entrepreneur by the name of Christopher Lopez. And I was so impressed with the wisdom and insight that he had that I just had to offer him the position for co-host. So I'd like to formally introduce you guys to the legendary Christopher Lopez.
Oh, wow. You know, when you were saying that introduction, I was like, I really want to meet that guy. Who is that? Turns out it's me. I'm glad to be here, man. Thanks for the opportunity.
It's my pleasure, brother.
Yes, sir. This was the fastest promotion I've ever received in my entire life.
Hey, look, man, and when you're that awesome, you don't have to do much, you know? You were just born that way.
That's exactly
I'm
true.
just kidding.
You guys hear that? That is very true.
Well, guys, I wanted to talk to you guys today a little bit about what the purpose of the podcast is and what kind of content you're going to be hearing on our show, and what kind of guests we're going to be having on the podcast. So me and Chris did a live on Instagram about 2-3 weeks ago. And ever since that day, I've been really thinking about like, man, he would be the perfect partner for this show. The amount of obstacles that he's overcome, and, the person that he is, and the knowledge that he shares and has, and the wisdom that he has is going to be very, very impactful for all of our guests and audience. So the purpose of the podcast is very simple. About 6 months ago, I was in the darkest place of my life, essentially. And in that darkness, I kind of had to really, really dig deep and mold myself in order to get out of that funk. And I came out of that darkness with a lot of knowledge and wisdom that I'd love to share with the world. And part of that journey, I started to really, really immerse myself with, watching successful people, listening to them, reading books on success and mindset and thought process, and the mind and communication and sales, and all of these concepts that I started learning. I was like, man, these people are awesome. I want to be just like them. And one thing that I saw across the board is that they all have the same mindset. They all think the same way. And, that's what's allowed them to maneuver through their world and be successful. So we're going to be interviewing some of the most successful people in all walks of life. We're going to be going through what's called their hero's journey. And that's talking about where were they prior to going on this adventure of what they're doing now and what they're successful and known for, what kind of adversity they went through along this journey, and what knowledge and wisdom they can share with our audience. So I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. It's going to be fun. It's going to be very educational. And I think ultimately there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom, right? Knowledge, yeah. Anybody can acquire knowledge. And you know what? I'm not saying don't acquire knowledge. You should, that's why you read. That's why you listen to audiobooks and podcasts like this, right? That you're acquiring knowledge. But the people that we're going to have on here, these people are all people that have wisdom. So what's the difference? What is wisdom? Wisdom you only get from experience. So every single person that gets on this podcast, people need to know that they need to meet an actual criteria in order to get on here. They got to qualify, And so we're going to have some very successful people, and we're going to bring knowledge and wisdom to all the viewers that are going to be watching this. And basically, we're bringing mentorship to you. And that's really what this is all about. So it's going to be good, man. It's going to be good, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that you said on the last episode, you said, without a test, you can't have a testimony. And that's something that you guys are going to observe throughout all of our guests, is that they've all been tested, and they have a testimony to what they've overcome and how they've succeeded in their journey. And I think you guys are going to really, really enjoy it. You're going to gain some knowledge, and at the same time, we're going to entertain you. So stay tuned for the next show. We're going to be having our next interview next week. And if you guys have any person that you feel has an interesting story, a story that's going to provide insight and knowledge and you feel has value, make sure you guys comment below and also share with us, what topics you feel that would be interesting for you guys to hear us take a take on. Anything else you want to say before we end the show, Chris?
Hey, man, I learned a long time ago, don't talk past the sale. I think you hit it out of the park. So
awesome. Well, you guys stay tuned and we'll see you guys next time.
Definitely.
All right, what do you want to know?
Well, so what's going on with you, man?
A lot. Just been fucking busy, dude. Working and working some more.
Tell everybody what you've been up to. What exactly do you do for work?
So I am a general manager for a commercial property management company. So I have 2 commercial office buildings that I manage. Mm-hmm. So that's my 9 to 5, and I'm really good at it. And then outside of that, I own a videography, photography, marketing business. So I shoot content for, right now I'm kind of doing everything. I do weddings, commercials for businesses, photo shoots, headshots. I do a little bit of everything. I do events, corporate events, or even quinceañeras and stuff like that. But in the long run, my goal is to kind of focus, niche down and specialize in creating what's called value commercials or value videos for small businesses and, teach them how to market online, mostly on social media, to grow their business, grow their audience and their influence. And that's kind of where I'm going to be heading that direction with that business. And then I'm also a producer, engineer, host, creator of this awesome thing called Dreams to Reality podcast with the legendary Christopher Lopez.
That sounds like your best project yet.
It is, bro. It is.
Yep.
And it's kind of, it's going to be what's called the goose that lays the golden egg.
That's it.
The goose that lays the golden egg is your main project that brings the most value to you. And then you take that and you use it to fund other ideas. Yeah. So, eventually I want to get into real estate and have investment properties. I mean, ideally, I would love to own like some freaking apartment complexes and just rent them out. And I do property management, so I have the knowledge to do that. I just don't have the money to afford an apartment complex right now. But in the long run, I will.
That's dope, man. That's dope.
Yeah.
Sounds like you've been very busy.
Yeah. It's overwhelming sometimes, but I feel, how do I say it? You have to kind of overload from my experience, and this is just me. You don't have to do what I do. Just take it for what it is. But I feel for me, in order to kind of create momentum and create results, I have to overload my plate, and I have to kind of burn the candle at both ends, in order for me to get off the ground. Because if I don't run with a sense of urgency and don't overload my plate, then I tend to not get off the ground. And it's just always just like, it's like a rocket ship. How much freaking rocket fuel is spent just to get that rocket into space. Yeah. But once it's up there, all you need is a little burn to get that thing to move. Because it's in no gravity. But to get it off the ground, trust me, you're gonna have to put a lot of energy. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just getting off the ground and putting a lot of energy. So I don't have time for bullshit. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. I can see that. I know you just recently started your videography business.
Yes, sir.
In photography business. So I don't even think you've been a year in it. However, I only bring that up because I have noticed that, you've successfully got to a point where you're pretty booked up.
Yeah, every weekend I have some kind of shoot.
And that's the reason I bring that up is because that's not necessarily that common, for somebody to start a business, especially like a videography business, a few months ago, and then now you're consistently booked up with parties or gigs or events or whatever it is. And so, here's a good question: how have you been getting when you first started? if you talk about that journey, what did you do? I mean, how did you, you took your money from your job and you invested it into all the equipment that you needed. And then how did you get your clientele?
Sure. When I got started, I didn't have any money to invest into my supplies, my equipment. So I had to put it all on debt, man, on credit cards.
Okay.
So I probably purchased about $10,000 worth of equipment
on credit card.
I put it all on credit cards.
That's dope.
It was all just, belief in myself. And I said, I don't even think I have enough money to pay these monthly bills on these credit cards, but I'm going to make it happen. By gaining gigs, I'll be able to pay this off and eventually it'll grow and it'll be profitable. So
now I have to stop you. I'm going to interject here. Okay. Cause this is interesting.
Yeah.
So, okay. You spent you spent $10,000 on your credit cards, right? $10,000 on credit cards, probably more.
Yeah.
For camera equipment, lights, all that stuff. And
camera, lights, laptops, audio equipment, gimbal, drones, external flashes, bunch of
So here's my
accessories. It adds up, man. Quickly.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think people need to hear this. Before you spent over $10,000 on camera equipment and all the accessories, did you already know how to do videography and photography?
Not at all. Didn't have an idea.
Okay, that's I asked. I already knew the answer, but I asked that question because this is interesting. A lot of people, they won't invest $100 into themselves because they don't know the next move. They don't know how they're going to do it. You took a leap and you spent over $10,000, racked up debt. That's a credit card. And you didn't even know the actual skill. So you taught yourself? Somebody taught you? How did this work?
So I purchased a program online. Instagram, bro, you think of something and they shoot you some marketing on it. Like right now I can say, pink loafers. And I'll open my app and it's going to be some pink loafers.
Yeah, it's the fits.
So anyways, I was thinking of, starting a videography business because, I started seeing how the market was going. Like everything is online now, and most businesses don't really use their social media to market, and if they do, it's crap. They don't know how to brand. They don't know how to create good content, value content. They don't know how to, target a specific audience that's going to get them results. People are just into making cool videos, but they're not into the purpose behind the video, the purpose behind the picture. And that is all, marketing, sales, driving revenue. And that's something that I did have experience with. I had zero experience when it came to, using a camcorder, using a camera. I didn't even know the settings or anything. I didn't know anything about that stuff. But I did know sales. I did know marketing. I did know people. I did know that I was capable of learning anything because I believed in myself. And I said, whatever I do, I'm gonna succeed in it. And like I had mentioned to you before, 6 months ago, I was in a really, really dark place, emotionally, financially, mentally, in any way, shape, or form you could think of it. I was in the worst of my life. And I learned that suffering and pain can be used as fuel to push you to get what you want. Yeah. And I took all of that suffering and pain and I used it for a good purpose, and that's kind of what allowed me to kind of skyrocket really, really fast. But at the same time, I will say that, having previous experience with sales and previous experience with people and marketing helped me a lot. Because you could be the best photographer, best videographer in the world. You could be the best anything. But if you don't know how to talk to people, you don't know how to connect with people, you don't know how to get them to like you and trust you and believe in what you're saying, you ain't gonna do anything. I know some really, really good personal trainers that make $0, a month because they don't know how to sell. The same thing with videography, photography. You have to know how to connect with people, and then behind that, I got good. And I started off with friends and family, so I practiced with the people that already knew me, they liked me, and I just, hey man, I've started this business, can I take some pictures of your family? And, they agreed. And in the beginning it was slow, like, how many friends and family can you take pictures of? Eventually they died out. Yeah. So, from there, people started to recognize my skills because of what they observed and they see. And they also saw how how driven I was, I guess you can tell just by the amount of content, the amount of things that I was putting out that, I just started to get recognized, and then it just took off.
Yeah. That's good, man. I asked that question because, that's the question I get almost every single day. Like, how do we find clients? How do you find clients in business? I don't care what business it is. It's natural that you're going to talk to people that you already know.
Yeah.
That's just, and I've been telling people that for a long time, and they're like, no, I don't believe that. Look, dude, you became a photographer, you're, no disrespect, but you're one of a million. So what makes you so special?
Yeah.
And then nobody even knows what they're going to get from you. So they're not going to risk spending their money not knowing what kind of quality they're going to get. You're brand new.
Yeah.
No different if you're a tattoo artist, no different if you just got your license to cut hair. It's no different really in any industry.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that you would start with people that you do know. Basically you just, hey, can you give me a shot? You probably offer something for free.
Yeah.
You're not trying to charge an arm and a leg right away, because you have to, number one, prove your value.
Yeah, you gotta prove your value, like you said.
Yeah. And I think that's a big thing, because there's so many people that they're delusional. They totally delusional. They think that they're gonna charge top notch over, like, I got licensed yesterday. Today I'm gonna charge an arm and a leg. No, you're not.
Yeah.
You could, but nobody's gonna pay you. Nobody even knows what you are, what you can produce. So I think that's interesting, man, because our whole podcast is about wisdom.
Yeah.
It's about interviewing people that have created success for themselves, not in a job, but in their own business and their own self-employment type of work, or whatever that might be. And man, you've done that. You've done that, and now you're running a legitimate podcast, and and you have a lot of things going on, man. So I wanted to ask that question for that reason, man. I think that people can definitely get value from just hearing your story.
Yeah, I mean, what I would tell